Hi folks, this is my first review I've ever done of a product, and so I thought I'd share some of my feelings about these things here with y'all. These are the Keen Newport H2 sandals, and like anything you buy, I've found that there are pros and cons to these sandals here, and so I thought I'd share some of what I've found with you all, since I didn't find much in the way of video reviews on YouTube of these things, so I thought I'd talk to you about some of the things that I've found. Well, these are obviously meant to be hybrid sandals, kind of a hybrid between a sandal and a regular, perhaps a hiking boot. And you can see they've got the closed toes right here to protect your toes, which is a nice change for me. I'm used to hiking around in open-toed sandals. I've worn Tevas or Tevas, however you want to pronounce them. I think Teva is technically correct. I've worn those for years and years, and admittedly, I've banged up my toes pretty good with them. Not horribly so, but I noticed that it does give you sort of this little bit of sense of reservation whenever you're out hiking around, to have those toes open like that. These definitely do help with that. Give you a sense of security, having those toes covered up with this nice rubber material right there. It really does help give you sort of a confidence when you're out hiking around. Alright, a little bit about the design. It is just sort of this kind of classic sandal design, with perhaps a little less open than something like a Teva or a Chaco. You can see there's a little bit more material here covering up your foot. I found that, yeah, you do get, when you're out hiking around in gritty material, that you will get grit underneath your foot, just like a sandal, any type of sandal. However, even though it's a little more closed up, I haven't noticed that it's really too much harder to get that material out than when you're wearing an open sandal. I mean, it is a little bit harder. It's harder to kind of turn your foot to the side and try and shake your foot and get that material out. Obviously, you now got a lot more material here that's keeping it in, but you can kind of lean your foot back and get material out that way. And I don't think you get as much material in underneath your foot with these things. I think they do help to keep some of that material out. That's for sure. Okay, a little bit about the build and the design in these things. You can see that it's got this nylon mesh upper here. I really like this, although I did have some concerns about after I broke it in, that it loosened up a bit, and so I'll talk to you a little bit about that when I get to maybe some of my concerns about this shoe later on. The sole, however, is this great sticky rubbery material. I love it. Really good for hiking around. I'll talk to you about that a little bit, and talking about some of the use of these things. And then it has a nice soft cushion on the interior that is really comfortable. You could really hike around in these things for long periods of time, especially once you kind of get a feel for them. So I really like the comfort of these things. Very nice. Just the build really works well to provide you some really nice comfort on your foot. So really nice job. I really enjoy these. I wear them every day, and I've done a variety of different hiking in these things. So I'll talk to you about that in just a second. So the comfort's really good. The build is really good. Now, as far as what about uses in these things, folks, I've used them for all kinds of things. Just wearing them around the house. That includes just in the house, doing little running when I need to run outside to take the garbage out or something like that. I've used them for doing yard work, lots of tough yard work, mowing the lawn, that sort of thing. So they have taken, they are definitely not getting any light use, that's for sure. I've also done some pretty serious hiking in them. Living here in East Texas, have got some stream wading in them, that sort of thing, and they do just absolutely fine. But then I've also had some pretty decent rough hiking with them out in West Texas. Did some hiking in the Davis Mountains, places like which is really rough, kind of desert habitat. Did some boulder hopping in these things, in the granitic boulders. They worked really well. They have that sticky the sticky rubber underneath worked really well. Boulder hopping on those boulders, almost a little too well. The rubber is so sticky that when I was jumping downslope from one boulder to another, I actually kind of got my toe stuck as I went to jump, and I almost did a face plant going downslope, which, given the situation, it probably would have been pretty ugly. So once you have that in mind and you realize how sticky those toes are up front, you know that you need to be careful. In some ways, when I feel that stickiness, it's getting close to maybe some climbing shoes, folks. So it's I feel as I rub against it, I get a nice stickiness to it. So be careful with that. That they are pretty grippy when you're doing boulder work. That was dry boulder work. Wet boulder work seems to be okay as well. Maybe just like any slick boulder, you're gonna, is there any type of shoe that's gonna hold you up? I don't know, but these did seem to work fairly well. And I did a little hiking around in the South Llano River. It's South Llano River State Park. Some slick rocks in there, but these were just absolutely wonderful for hiking around in the river and that sort of setting. Also did some stream hiking in Colorado Bend State Park, and again, it's sort of rocky habitat with water moving over it, some very slick rock, and it seemed to work very well. So works very well. I think that's an intended use, is for you to be able to move in and out of water. It works great for that, moving in and out of water, no problem whatsoever. Now, just kind of dry trail hiking does work well, although admittedly, again, you kind of get dust and everything down into your feet and along your ankles, and so that was hiking without socks. So if you're hiking with some sort of hiking sock, probably these things, I imagine, would be great. I haven't done that myself, so I can't give you any input on that. But even in a dry hiking situation, it seems to work great.